Back in 2007, Assassin's Creed shook things up with a fresh take on gaming. It was bold, it was original, and it was a bit repetitive. It was packed with deep thoughts, and it wasn't perfect. It let players dream of being an assassin, but it also showed what the game could do better. The world was stunning, but it felt like it was repeating itself. The idea was amazing, but it needed more polish. And then in 2009, Ubisoft dropped Assassin's Creed 2, and suddenly everything changed. This wasn't just a follow-up, it was a reaction. It was a better version. It was a brand new game, and it was the next step. Ubisoft took almost every criticism from the first game, turned it into something that they aimed to achieve. There was more variety, emotion, characters, cities, side quests, side content, mystery, weapons, freedom, and the world felt more alive. Where the first Assassin's Creed was cold and dripping with philosophy, Assassin's Creed 2 was warm, human, and overflowing with personality. Where Altair began as a legend learning his humility, Ezio began as a young man learning his purpose. Where the first game studied the Creed from a distance, the sequel asked what it would feel like to grow into it. And this is the story of Assassin's Creed 2, the game that transformed a promising experiment into one of gaming's most defining franchises, and the story of Ezio Auditore, a son, a brother, a lover, a killer, a student, and eventually master assassin. So grab yourself a cup of tea, get comfy, because I'm about to ramble on for a while and butcher some of these names and spoil the story. To really understand Assassin's Creed 2, we need to look back at where Ubisoft was after the first game came out. Assassin's Creed had been an hit. It showed that there were a huge crowd for historical open-world action games. Visually, it showed off how powerful the new Anvil engine was. Conceptually, it introduced a world that was truly unique in gaming. But of course, the criticism was still there. Players loved climbing the cities, sneaking up on the targets, and solving the mystery of the Animus. But many, myself included, got bored with the same gameplay loop. You go to a city, climb to a synchronization point, do some investigating, kill a target, run away, back to Masyaf, and then do it all over again. The game had a solid foundation, but just like your ex, it needed more depth. Assassin's Creed 2 feels like Ubisoft was looking at the first game and then asking themselves, what if this world wasn't just big, but also meaningful? What if collecting things had real emotion or story? What if the main character wasn't just an observer, but someone that you could really connect with? What if the side stories weren't just filler, but part of the magic? What if the assassin story wasn't just about lectures, confessions, but also about family relationships, betrayal, humour and sadness? And the result is one of the most exciting sequels of its time. Assassin's Creed 2 doesn't just copy the first game, it makes it better in every way. It's a shame Ubisoft eventually went the complete opposite direction with all of these points in the future, but we will get there eventually. Even though Assassin's Creed 2 is mostly known for Ezio's journey, it kicks off in the present day. Desmond Miles is still stuck at Abstergo, which is the modern day Templars. At the end of the first game, he gained eagle vision and found strange messages written in blood around the walls. There were symbols that were left behind by Subject 16, warning puzzles and pieces of knowledge from a mind that was completely smashed by the Animus. And now the story gets cracking proper. Lucy Stillman reveals she's more than just an Abstergo gimp. She's a closet assassin and helps Desmond escape. The opening is important for a few reasons. First, it instantly makes the modern day story a lot more dynamic. In the original game, Desmond was mostly stuck, confused and powerless, but now he's moving, he's running and escaping. Second, it shows that the Animus isn't just a research tool, it's a training device. Through the bleeding effect, Desmond can pick up skills from his ancestors. The longer he stays in their memories, the more of their abilities and skills that he absorbs. The historical story isn't separate from the present. It's getting Desmond ready for something a lot bigger. Something that Abstergo wants. Something that the assassins fear, and something hidden deep in history. Desmond finds himself at a hideout in an old warehouse where he meets Rebecca Crane and Sean Hastings. Rebecca takes him to their new version of the Animus. Sean shares some historical background. He's a sarcastic knobend and a living encyclopedia of dry British irritation. The atmosphere shifts instantly. The first game's Abstergo sections all felt clinical and oppressive. Assassin's Creed 2's modern day hideout feels more like a makeshift underground refuge. The assassins are not powerful, they're scattered, outnumbered and working from the fringes. The Templars have corporations, money, laboratories and global influence. The assassins have taken equipment, ancient knowledge and a dwindling number of believers, and this imbalance adds a sense of urgency to the entire story. Desmond is not just reliving Ezio's memories out of a curiosity, he's been trained. The past is a weapon, and Desmond needs to learn how to use it. The Animus whips us away to Florence in 1476, the heart of the Renaissance. A world bursting with art, ambition, politics, religion, banking, beauty and violence. And right there, Assassin's Creed 2 makes a pivotal creative choice. Ezio isn't introduced as an assassin, he's introduced as a young man, not a warrior, not a hero, or a symbol, just Ezio. He's a reckless, charming, and a bit arrogant in a way that's different from Altair. Where Altair's arrogance stemmed from mastery, Ezio's came from his youth, and being an absolute chad. The rooftop race with Federico sets the stage for everything the players need to know. Like the complete opposite of Mycen, Ezio is athletic, competitive, playful, and loved. He belongs to this city. Florence isn't just a map, it's his home. The first missions are intentionally small, like a street fight, a rooftop race, a visit to the doctors, a delivery to his father, a booty call, a family errand. These aren't just filler, they're emotional building blocks. Ubisoft is crafting a life for Ezio before the tragedy that defines him. Assassin's Creed 2's opening is brilliant because it lets players see Ezio before tragedy strikes. We see him as a brother, a son, one at lads, a troublemaker and a young nobleman. He's got no idea his world is about to turn to shite. The Auditore family is the heart and soul of this game. Ezio's father, Giovanni, seems like a well-respected banker and advisor at first glance. But there's more to him than meets the eye. He's an assassin. His sons don't quite grasp the risks that he faces. His daughter Claudia is caught up in Florence's social scene. His wife Maria is loving, artistic and deeply connected to Renaissance culture. His youngest son Petruchio is delicate, gentle and he loves feathers. The game gives us just enough time with them to make them feel real and make us care. Not in the way that modern TV shows are usually developed, but clearly, warmly and humanly. Federico is the older brother that Ezio looks up to. Petruchio is the younger brother he looks out for, and Claudia is the sister that he teases but loves. Maria is the mother whose silence after tragedy becomes one of the game's most haunting moments. Giovanni is the father whose secret life becomes Ezio's legacy. This is the first big difference between Ezio and Altair. Altair's story starts with a fall from grace within an institution. Ezio's starts with the loss of his family. Altier's trying to make amends. Ezio is seeking revenge. And the difference really changes everything. The betrayal of the Auditore family is still one of the most powerful events to kick off a story in a game. Ezio's dad and his brothers all get arrested. Ezio thinks that it's a mistake, some kind of legal cock-up. It's a misunderstanding that can all be cleared up with proof. He gets documents that should prove his family is innocent, and he hands them over to Umberto Alberti, a family friend. But then he finds out the real reason. The law won't save his family, because the law has already been compromised. Ezio watches hopelessly, while his father and brothers meet their end. And this is the point where Assassin's Creed 2 transcends being just a follow-up. The first game had an edge of philosophy from the start. Assassin's Creed 2 starts with an emotional kick to the nuts. The betrayal isn't just a distant concept, it's a personal betrayal. A friend betrays the family, and the city turns against them. The very institutions meant to bring justice become tools for murder. Ezio isn't swayed by doctrine, he's swayed by his grief. Ezio's first real lesson isn't about the creed, it's about power. Those who hold sway over the courts can change what counts as guilt, and those who control the guards can create order out of the chaos. Those who shape public perception can commit murder in broad daylight and call it justice. This is why Templar ideology is so important, not because Rodrigo Borgia preaches about control, but because Ezio feels control crush his family before he even knows the word Templar. When Ezio finally catches up to Umberto, his assassination isn't graceful. It's not really about deep thought. It's not controlled. It's just about anger that's turned to action. And that's what makes it important. Altier starts as an assassin who lost his sense of humility. Ezio starts as an angry young man who hasn't learned to hold back. When he kills Umberto, he's not doing it for the Brotherhood. He's doing it to get revenge for his family. The hidden blade isn't some mythical holy weapon yet, it's just a weapon of sorrow, and that's why Ezio's journey is so effective. He doesn't suddenly become a hero, and the game lets him feel angry. It gives him time to be impulsive and beaten, to feel human. His way to the creed is slow. The Brotherhood doesn't erase his pain, it shows him how to deal with it and redirect it. After the executions and the revenge, Ezio, Maria and Claudia escape Florence. I'm going to butcher this name. They find safety in Montegrigione, Ezio's uncle Mario's villa. And yeah, the game really does know what it's doing when Mario introduces himself. For many players, this moment was a welcome break from the dark start. But Mario's much more than just a joke. He's a very important figure in Ezio's life moving forward. Mario tells us that the Auditore family is connected to something older than just banking or Florentine politics. Giovanni was an assassin. The Templar conspiracy reaches all over Italy, and Ezio has taken on not only his father's enemies, but also his father's mission. At first, Ezio don't give a toss. He's not interested in secret wars, he's looking for revenge. But the villa becomes the place where revenge starts to change who Ezio is. The villa is one of Assassin's Creed 2's best ideas. It's like an economy system where players put money into making the town better. You can hire blacksmiths, doctors, tailors, banks, art merchants, and build landmarks. As the town gets nicer, it makes more money, which you can then use to get better weapons, armors, dyes, pouches and supplies, and it's a pretty decent cycle. It's a very addicting cycle, and trust me, I spent far too much time farming money to get upgrades. You explore the world to earn some cash, you invest in the villa, you collect the income and buy better gear. You explore even more, and so on and so on. But on a deeper level, the villa is more than just an economy. It's about rebuilding and regrowth. Ezio can't bring back his father and his brothers, but he can fix what's left. He can keep Maria safe, he can give Claudia a reason to live, and he can bring back his family's name. The town's improvements show Ezio's growth too. At first they're both in trouble, but by the end they're both strong. And this is the sequel's best design idea. It's a gameplay system that really connects to the character of the story. While Ezio is the main character of Assassin's Creed 2, the game also gives Maria and Claudia their own important storylines to follow. Maria's sadness is one of the game's quieter emotional moments. She's a husk of herself. After seeing her husband and her sons executed, she almost disappears. She hardly speaks, and her silence really makes the tragedy feel heavy, even after the story has moved on. The feather thing is connected to her sadness. Petruchio used to collect feathers before he died, and Ezio can keep collecting them all over Italy. It's a hunt for feathers, and it may seem like a modern Ubisoft collectathon shite, but it is a way to remember. Each feather is a little way of saying, I won't forget my brother. Claudia's story is a little different. She starts as a young noblewoman who gets disgraced and sent away because of a betrayal. At the villa, she takes charge of the money. She keeps track of everything, and she makes sure the family's home is running. The game doesn't really make a big deal out of it, it just lets her become stronger in her own way. While Ezio is out fighting, Claudia is helping to fix up the house. They're both keeping the family together in their own special ways. Leonardo da Vinci is one of Assassin's Creed 2's most impressive achievements in historical fiction. The real Leonardo was already a master artist, engineer, autonomist, inventor, visionary, and an absolute madman. The game presents a wonderfully straightforward question. What if Leonardo's genius became part of the Assassin Brotherhood's secret past? Leonardo is not an assassin, and that's important. He's not motivated by revenge like Ezio, and he's not bound by the creed. He's driven by his own curiosity, his kindness and his imagination. For Ezio, Leonardo becomes something truly special. He's a friend who's not just a soldier fighting in the same war. Their relationship adds warmth to the story. Leonardo deciphers the codex pages. He repairs and enhances Ezio's hidden blades. He develops lots of new toys for us to play with. And he brings a sense of wonder that balances the darkness of Ezio's revenge. Every time Ezio sees Leonardo, the game feels a little bit brighter. The conspiracy is still there, and the danger is still present. But so is his creativity. And this is central to the old Renaissance setting. Assassin's Creed 2 is not just about corruption and murder, it's about art, innovation, and limitless potential of humanity. The Codex pages are a key part of Assassin's Creed 2, especially when it comes to the storytelling. In terms of gameplay, they really push you to sneak around more and explore. A lot of them are tucked away in places that are protected. You'll need to climb, sneak, fight, or come up with little clever tricks to get inside. Each page is a puzzle to solve. But what they do for the story is even more impactful. They link Ezio all the way back to Altair, and these writings come from Altair himself after the events of the first game. After Altair defeated Al-Malim, after he took the apple, after he started questioning the core of the Brotherhood through the Codex, Altair becomes a guide from the past. He's no longer just the main character from another game, he's now Ezio's mentor indirectly. The Codex shows us his studies, his doubts, his new ideas and his warnings. It also reinforces the main idea of the franchise. History is alive, and it's passed down. Altair's decisions influence Ezio's abilities, and Ezio's actions then affect Desmond's future, and the story keeps on going. While the first game was all about showing off the idea, Assassin's Creed 2 really takes the fantasy to a new level. Almost every major system from the first game gets boosted here. The movement feels smoother, the mission design is a lot more interesting, combat has the use of little tasty gadgets that kinda reminded me of the Batman Arkham games. Stealth has more ways to play. The economy makes exploring feel like your own little adventure, and the side quests become a lot more important. The cities feel a lot more vibrant, and Ezio also plays differently from Altair. He feels younger and more relaxed. Where Altair moved with seriousness, Ezio moves with the confidence of someone discovering what his body can do. Parkour is still at the heart of the game, but Assassin's Creed 2 sharpens it. The rooftops are all packed tighter, the buildings are more interesting, and the climbs feel more impressive. Florence invites you to move up and down the tiled roofs and towers. Venice shakes things up again, with the canals, bridges, and closer rooftop paths. Tuscany bring in the countryside spots with the dramatic towers and strong buildings. The game also uses platforming more on purpose, with the assassin tombs. These tombs are like little parkour dungeons, and they're their own puzzles. They challenge your eye, your timing, and how you plan your path. Instead of just climbing to see the map, you're climbing because the environment itself is a puzzle. Like I mentioned on the last one, about before everyone was Spider-Man, you have to actually think about where you're putting your hands and feet. Instead of climbing just to see the map, you're climbing because the environment itself is a puzzle. There were a few times when some of these assassin tombs started to frustrate me a little bit, but overall, the tombs are a welcome addition, and I did really enjoy them. In Assassin's Creed 2, combat still revolves around counters and timing, but it's got a much wider range of options now. Since your boy is the ultimate Chad, Ezio can wield swords, daggers, heavy weapons, spears, maces, and even fight without weapons. He can disarm foes, he can snatch weapons away from them, he can use smoke bombs to slip away or create openings. The hidden blade also transforms in a big way in this game. Use of a second blade lets Ezio assassinate two people at once, and this is extremely useful and very satisfying. The poison blade lets Ezio take out targets indirectly, causing chaos while remaining hidden. The pistol that you unlock with the codex pages give Ezio a strong ranged weapon. This expansion is more important because it changes how players can now express themselves, and you can play how you want. Altair often felt like a finely tuned instrument. Ezio feels like a toolbox. Players can tackle any problem with stealth, aggression, direction, speed, or just do what I did and wing it most of the time. Social stealth is even more adaptable now too. In the first game, Altair could slip into the lives of scholars and crowds. In Assassin's Creed 2, this takes a step further by adding faction-based support. You can now get courtesans to keep the guards busy. Thieves can lead enemies astray and help you move around, and mercenaries can even start fights for you. These factions really bring the cities to life, making them feel like they're all connected. Ezio isn't pissing around here. He's creating a network and learning to use the city as his own tool. Yet another tool for his toolbox. This is a pretty good way to see how the sequel really brings the assassin fantasy to life. An assassin isn't just about hiding in the background. He knows people inside out, he knows how things work, and he knows who can be bought, paid off, talked to, or threatened. Following the loss of the Auditore family, Assassin's Creed 2 expands the conspiracy to include the Pazzi family. This is where the game starts to weave Ezio's fictional quest for revenge with actual Renaissance history. The Pazzi conspiracy was a real political event in 1478 where there was an attempt to take down the Medici power in Florence. The game takes this and turns it into the Assassin vs Templar conflict. This is one of the franchise's most distinctive moves. History becomes a stage and real events become proof of hidden wars. Historical figures become participants in secret struggles. Ezio's alliance with Lorenzo de' Medici really drives home this idea. Lorenzo stands up for Florence's cultural and political strength. The Pazzi represent the corruption and ambition of the Templar influence. But the game doesn't make the conflict just about learning things. For Ezio, every conspiracy still ties back to his father's death, but every target is both personal and political. This all blends together to keep the story fresh and interesting. Ezio is discovering that revenge and history are all deeply connected. Vieri di Pazzi, again, sorry if I've mispronounced the name, is not the deepest villain in the game, but he serves a clear purpose. It reflects Ezio's own immaturity. Both men are young, both are arrogant, both are products of powerful families. But where Ezio's suffering pushed him towards growth, Vieri remains trapped in the cruelty and entitlement. Their rivalry began right at the start in the street fight, but by the time Ezio confronts him much later on, the conflict has become part of something a lot larger. And this is one of Assassin's Creed 2's reoccurring narrative patterns. Personal grudges reveal political structures, street violence reveals ancient conspiracies, the local becomes the historical, and the historical becomes the mythical. It is a constant growth.
What are you and your allies planning? Is this what my father discovered? Is this why he was killed?
I'm sorry. Were you hoping for a confession?
Pezzo di merda! Vorrei solo che avessi sofferto di più! Hai avuto la fine che meritavi! Spero che
Enough, Ezio! Show some respect.
Respect? After all that's happened, do you think he would have shown either of us such kindness?
You are not Vieri. Do not become him. Che la morte ti dia le pace che cercavi. Requiesca.
The Pazzi arc of the game is when Ezio starts to grasp how power really works in Italy. The Templars are more than just killers. They sneak into families. They infect banks, churches, courts and governments. Their aim isn't to kill their enemies, it's to change society by taking control of its institutions, and that's why the Pazzi conspiracy is so important. It shows Ezio that the enemy isn't just one person, it's not one betrayal or one city, it is a network, and to fight a network, Ezio needs his own network, he needs to make some friends. Tuscany really shifts the pace of Assassin's Creed 2. After the bustling streets of Florence, the open countryside gives the story a chance to stretch its legs. The towers loom over the skyline, offering new ways to explore. Cities feel a lot smaller than Florence, but with a sharper edge, more focused, more fortified. Tuscany is where Ezio first steps into a world beyond what he already knew. Florence was his own, Tuscany is the bigger picture. Here he keeps hunting down those that are involved in the plot, but the emotional landscape starts to shift. The killings are still all about revenge for Ezio, but he's getting more careful, more skilled and more aware. He's no longer reacting. He's digging into things a lot deeper, he's planning his moves and he's hunting down his targets. In short, he's becoming an assassin before he even fully grasps what that means. Foley introduces another fascinating historical figure, Caterina Sforza. Sorry again, I'm really bad at names. In Assassin's Creed 2, Caterina brings a unique vibe to Ezio's group of friends.
Bastardi! You think you can threaten me? I'll give you nothing! You want my children? Take them! I have the instrument to make more!
She's straightforward and she's got a keen eye for politics and a strategic mind. She's a ruler who's navigating a world where power is harsh. Her influence broadens the game's understanding of politics. Florence is all about art and finance, and Venice is about trade and secrets. Foley is about might, military, terror and control. These sections of the game also connect with the main story and with events that were later explored in downloadable content. There's also a lot of focus on the Apple of Eden, and the risks of having something that everybody else wants. The apple isn't just a threat to individuals, it stirs up conflict and violence wherever it goes, just like my mother-in-law. The Battle of Foley brings a more direct military aspect to Ezio's journey. For most of the game, he's been hunting in cities. Now things are starting to get bigger, more complicated. The Templars and their friends aren't just hiding in grand palaces. They bring armies to the gates. This part of the game reminds us that the Assassin and Templar War is happening on many different levels. It could be a quiet conversation in a corridor, it could be a dagger in a crowded room, or it could be a siege at a city wall. All of these are just pieces to the same puzzle. Venice might be one of Assassin's Creed 2's most captivating cities. Florence is where Ezio's journey began, but Venice is where he truly shines. The city is packed with life, it's reaching up high and layered in depth. The canals shift how you get around, its bridges can act as natural barriers, its rooftops offer a thrilling parkour experience, and its crowds aid in stealth. The architecture feels like a stage. Everything about Venice seems designed for an assassin, plus it marks a new chapter in Ezio's growth. When he gets there, he's no longer just an heartbroken boy from Florence. He's faced death, he's learned from it, he's lost something and he's grown a lot stronger. He's still not quite a master assassin, but he's becoming something very powerful. Venice also helps Ezio grow his social circle. Rosa and Antonio introduce him to the Venetian thieves. Rosa in particular shows Ezio how to move around using better parkour techniques, like climbing leaps that let him reach new heights. And this is another way Assassin's Creed 2 shows how skills are connected to relationships. Ezio doesn't just get abilities from a bloated skill tree in a menu, he learns from those around him. Mario teaches him how to fight and all about the Creed. Leonardo makes his tools better, Rosa makes him move better, Caterina teaches him about politics. Machiavelli gives him a serious outlook on things. The game's way of moving forward is all about gaining new social connections. Ezio gets stronger because he connects to others. Venice's story is all about political gamemanship. Who gets to lead and who gets to be murdered. The Templars are trying to get their hands on the city's top boys, and Assassin's Creed 2 really hammers home this point. The Templars don't always need to be in charge themselves, they just need to make sure the people who are in charge do what they want. They're like little naughty puppet masters. In Venice, power is passed down through trade, titles, fancy ceremonies, and of course assassinations. Ezio's job gets trickier. Now the people that he's trying to stop aren't just family enemies, they're part of a bigger fight for control over Italy itself. The carnival sequence is one of Assassin's Creed 2's most memorable parts. It mixes the tone so well. I'd completely forgotten about this when I replayed the game all these years later, and I loved it. On the surface, it's about a fun celebration. It's colourful and it's playful. Ezio gets involved in games, competitions and social events. The city transforms into a stage. Everyone wears masks and performs, but there's a darker side to these festivities. It's Venice in miniature, with beauty above and corruption below. Thematically, Carnival is a perfect fit for an Assassin's Creed. It's a festival of masks in a game about hidden identities. It's a public celebration that hides secret violence, and it's a city pretending to be joyful while power shifts in the shadows. Plus, it's a big step up from the first game's mission design. The path to assassination here isn't just a repetitive list of eavesdropping, pickpocketing and shit like that anymore. It's a series of different goals that have been woven into the setting's culture. One of the main reasons Assassin's Creed 2 feels like such a big step forward is its side content. The first game had flags, Templars and citizen rescues, and these had no impact on the story or the game, so I didn't even mention them in the last episode. But Assassin's Creed 2 takes optional content and it turns it into a whole ecosystem. You can find assassin tombs, solve glyph puzzles, collect feathers, treasure chests, codex pages, statues, paintings. There are races, courier missions, beat-up events, assassination contracts, villa renovations, shop upgrades, armour and weapon collections. Each activity serves its own purpose. Some will give you money, some equipment, some reveal more story, some will help you improve, and some just make the world feel richer. The result is an open world that feels much more generous than the first one ever did, and 100 times better than most of the recent games from this franchise, Ubisoft, and AAA gaming as a whole. I'm not trying to rag on Ubisoft, because they did have the sauce back in the day when they made this game, and I wish they could somehow recapture this magic. Ubisoft, I suppose, are like that one person at school who seemed to have everything, peaked in their 20s, and now they're a single parent, pushing 40, getting pissed up all week, smashing out Tinder dates every weekend, and constantly complaining about everything wrong with their lives on social media. Anyway, back to Assassin's Creed. The Assassin Tombs are some of the best optional missions in the whole Ezio trilogy. Each tomb is about movement. You climb, swing, and figure out ways to navigate through hidden spots under famous landmarks. These aren't your typical dungeons, they're little parkour challenges, and they really test how well you know how to move, and use the camera to time your actions. A couple of these, like I said, did frustrate me due to the fiddly nature of the climbing controls, but I did really enjoy them. If you finish each tomb that's linked to a legendary assassin, now if you gather up all these seals, you unlock the armour of the OG himself, Altair. And this is a pretty good mechanical reward, but what really matters is the symbolism. Ezio gets the armour of the last assassin. It's like the franchise is passing down the torch from one generation to the next. Altair's legacy becomes Ezio's shield. The glyph puzzles in Assassin's Creed 2 are a fascinating and strange addition. The symbols are hidden in major landmarks and can only be seen with eagle vision. Each glyph leads to a puzzle that was left behind by Subject 16. All of these puzzles blend art, history, political intrigue, religious symbolism, famous people, and mysterious meanings. They hint that the pieces of Eden have shaped history a lot more deeply than we ever thought. Think back to presidents, inventors, industrialists, revolutionaries, religious figures, and they all fit into a hidden pattern. Whether these hints are meant to be taken literally, or as part of a conspiracy, they are still pretty powerful. The player feels like history itself has a secret code, and solving these puzzles reveals a piece of a video called The Truth. It shows a strange vision of early humans, advanced beings, and forbidden knowledge. The Truth doesn't fully explain the first civilization. It teases and it unsettles.
Have it.
Eve!
Look out!
It opens the door just enough for players to realise something huge is behind it, and this is one of Assassin's Creed 2's biggest storytelling moments. A collectible becomes a revelation, and side content becomes mythology. On my first playthrough of this game, way back in the day, I completely ignored the feathers. But this time around I got stuck in and I collected them all. And I realised something. The feathers are more than just a simple collectible. They carry a lot of emotional weight. There are 100 of them spread all across Italy, and they gently push you to explore, and they also bring you closer to Petruchio. Before he passed away, Ezio's younger brother asked him to gather him some feathers. After he was executed, keeping the collection going becomes a nice way to remember him. This is a much better idea than the flags in the first game. The feathers might still be a big collectible hunt, but they are tied to the characters, and they have meaning. A feather is not just a symbol, it is a way to hold on to grief. The treasure chests that are scattered around are another great way to earn money. Paintings can boost the villa's value, and statues hidden around are a few surprises for those who explore carefully. Weapons and armour can be collected and displayed, and these systems make completing the game feel like restoring something. The more you explore Italy, the more the villa shows its own story. This villa becomes a museum of Ezio's life. It's a gallery of your progress, and a home that is built from exploration. There are smaller side activities, and these also keep the game moving at a really good pace. Races put your parkour to the test. Courier missions challenge your speed and how you plan your routes. Assassination contracts give you focused stealth challenges. There are also beat-up events that let Ezio jump in and help out personal problems around the cities. Not every activity is deep, but together they make the world feel busier, more reactive, and a lot more playful. The original Assassin's Creed often felt like a beautiful crafted machine. Assassin's Creed 2 feels like a place where you can explore and actually inhabit. Rodrigo Borgia is a key villain in Assassin's Creed because he embodies a unique kind of power. Unlike many of the game's initial foes, he's not just a soldier, he's not just a merchant, and he's not just a local tyrant. He's a strategist, a politician, a manipulator, and someone who knows how institutions work. In this game, Rodrigo is the Grand Master of the Italian Templars. In real life, Rodrigo Borgia became Pope Alexander VI, a figure of great debate during the Renaissance. Assassin's Creed 2 uses this historical reputation to create a villain who feels threatening, not because he's physically unbeatable, but because he's deeply embedded in society's systems. He uses families, banks, armies, churches, courts, titles, faith, and his own greed. Rodrigo knows that true control doesn't always seem like control. Sometimes it looks like tradition, sometimes it looks like the law, sometimes it looks like divine authority. Ezio and Rodrigo are more than just opposites. Ezio starts with a personal loss, and gradually finds a cause bigger than himself. Rodrigo starts with ideas, and slowly shows the personal hunger hidden beneath them. Ezio learns humility through his pain, but Rodrigo becomes more sure of his own right to do whatever he wants. Ezio makes friends. Rodrigo gains control. Ezio takes over the assassin legacy reluctantly. Rodrigo chases the Templar dream with all his might. And by the end, their fight is not just about getting even, it's about the future for everyone. Should people be allowed to make bad choices? Or should they be guided, controlled, and arranged by those who think they know best? It's the same question from the first game, but now it's seen through the lens of Renaissance politics, family tragedy, and religious power. Ezio's journey is impressive because it develops gradually over time. He doesn't suddenly become wise or an assassin because someone tells him to. He becomes one because his experiences have moulded him and changed him. Initially, Ezio is just a cocky youth. He's charming, impulsive, and feels safe because of his family status. But after the executions, grief becomes his defining trait. He kills because he feels pain. Then he learns. Mario teaches him history, Leonardo invention, Rosa movement, Antonio networks, and Caterina politics. Machiavelli teaches him seriousness, and the Brotherhood teaches him responsibility. By the end, Ezio has changed, but he hasn't become cold, and this is an important point. Ezio does not lose his humanity to become an assassin. He matures and he grows. The warmth and the humour stay with him, the passion stays, but it becomes more disciplined, directed and purposeful. Altier's story was about a master learning humility. Ezio is about a boy becoming a man and learning responsibility. One of the most fascinating aspects of this game is how Ezio spends so much of his time surrounded by assassins, yet he doesn't quite realise who they are until much later. He thinks that he's working with allies, thieves, politicians, fighters and friends, but they all turn out to be part of the Brotherhood, and this completely changes how we see his entire journey. Despite what he thought, Ezio was never truly alone. He was being watched, guided, tested and protected. The reveal is so effective, because it gives meaning to what seemed like random events. His allies weren't just random helpers, they were members of an ancient order. Each one of them were playing their own part in Ezio's development. They were moulding him, guiding him, and helping him grow. But it also makes us wonder, how much of all of this, how much of Ezio's path did he actually decide for himself? And how much did those around him shape it? And this balance is what makes the game so interesting. The assassins fight for free will, but they also influence things. They reject control, but they do it in secret. Assassin's Creed 2 doesn't always explore this contradiction as deeply as it did in the last game, but it's still there. Ezio does choose the creed, but he's also groomed and led toward making that decision. The Apple of Eden returns as the central object of power again. In the first game, it represented control, illusion, corruption, temptation. In Assassin's Creed 2, it becomes even more mysterious. The apple isn't just a mind control device. It's a key, a record, a weapon. It's a fragment of a civilization humanity barely remembers. Everyone who seeks it believes that they can use it. Rodrigo wants it as a path to power. The assassins want it to keep it out of his fat greasy hands. Ezio comes to understand that it's bigger than both sides. The apple reframes the entire conflict. Assassins and Templars are fighting over artifacts that they don't actually fully understand. They're children arguing with tools of gods. Except the gods were not gods. They're something older, something advanced, and something lost. In the final act of the game, Ezio finds himself in the Vatican. This place is dripping in history, religion and symbolism, and for most of the game Rodrigo has been chasing power through politics and religion. And now he's right in the middle of one of the world's most powerful organisations. The gameplay in the finale mixes stealth, combat and movement. The story ties together all the main elements. The Codex, the Apple, Staff, Rodrigo, the Vault, Ezio's revenge, Desmond's purpose. Rodrigo thinks that he is the prophet who will open the vault. The flabby little mess believes that he is a chosen one. This is his downfall. Like Al-Mulim before him, he thinks having access means having the understanding. He believes that power makes being a douchehound worth it. But Ezio has learned throughout the game that just having a name, a weapon, or even going through pain isn't enough. Your purpose must be earned. One of the most talked about moments in the game is Ezio's decision to not kill Rodrigo. For some people this felt odd. I personally would be extremely satisfied to poke some holes in the big toad. Ezio's been chasing down this guy and all those who destroyed his family for ages, so why stop now? But it's important thematically. Killing Rodrigo would finish his revenge, but sparing him shows that Ezio has moved past it. This doesn't mean Rodrigo deserves mercy, because he really doesn't. It means Ezio doesn't want revenge to be the last thing that he does. Ezio's killed many people at this point. Some of them deserved it. Some of them were just caught in bigger schemes. Some were monsters, some were believers. But here Ezio chooses not to feed into the cycle of vengeance.
You can't! You can't! It's my destiny! Mine! I am the prophet! You never were. Get it over with, then. No. Killing you won't bring my family back. I'm done. quella è reale. Tutto è lecito. Requiescat in pace.
He's realised now that his bigger goal is way beyond Rodrigo, way beyond himself and his family revenge, beyond the plot with the Templars. The vault is here, and so is the truth. The ending of Assassin's Creed 2 is one of the most daring moments in the entire series. Ezio steps into the vault hoping for answers, and we're hoping for answers too. We want to know what's going on. But the game takes a surprising turn. An ancient figure emerges. It's Minerva. She's from the civilization that existed before humans, the first civilization, who are known as the Isu. To Ezio, she seems almost divine, and to the players she feels like something from a fever dream. She is a being from a highly advanced species whose existence has been turned into myths about gods. And this is where Assassin's Creed 2 really dives into the sci-fi mythology. The pieces of Eden aren't magic, they're just pieces of technology that we don't understand. Human history is incomplete. Religions, myths and legends might hold distorted memories of something that's true. Civilization is built on the ruins of things that we don't understand. But what's most amazing isn't Minerva's existence. It's who she talks to at that moment. She doesn't speak to Ezio, she speaks directly to Desmond. For the entire game, to this point, Ezio seemed like the centre of the story. We focused on his family, his revenge, his growth, his enemies, his destiny. And then Minerva looks beyond him. She looks directly through him towards Desmond. It's a staggering narrative move. Ezio realises in the same moment as we do that he is both the protagonist and a messenger. His life matters, but it's also part of a chain leading to someone else. The Animus is no longer just a window into the past. It becomes a communication device across time. The past speaks to the present, and memory becomes prophecy. Ezio doesn't fully understand what's just happened. How could he? He spent his entire life fighting, and now he's become the vessel for a warning from a lost civilization. The moment expands Assassin's Creed beyond conspiracy, beyond history and revenge. The franchise is now about survival. A catastrophe is coming, and Desmond has been chosen to respond, and Ezio's life has become the path to that warning. Even though Assassin's Creed 2's modern-day story is a lot shorter than Ezio's, it's still really important. Desmond no longer is just stuck in a room. He's on his way to becoming an assassin. Ezio's abilities have started to trickle over to Desmond through the bleeding effect. He can now do parkour, he's better at combat, he's gained instincts and eagle vision, and this makes a really strong connection between you and the main character. Just like you get to know the assassin systems by playing as Ezio, Desmond gets better by living through Ezio's life. Everyone is learning together. Ezio picks up tricks from Altair, Desmond picks up tricks from Ezio. And you learn through both of them. Memory becomes training, and history becomes something that you can pass down. Assassin's Creed 2 is often celebrated for its charm, its vastness, and the enhancements that it brought to the first game. However, it's its themes that make it a timeless masterpiece. One of the main themes of the game is family. Everything starts with the Auditores. Ezio's deep love for his family is what drives the entire plot. Their deaths set the stage for this journey. The villa becomes a symbol of what was left behind, and the feathers keep his brother's memory alive. Claudia and Maria remind us that surviving is not the same as living or even healing. And the second theme is revenge. The story begins in blood, but the game is careful not to make revenge too simple. At first, vengeance gives Ezio direction, and later, it's not enough. By the end of the story, Ezio needs more than revenge, he needs a purpose. The third theme is legacy, Altair's Codex, the armour of Altair, the assassin tombs, the villa, the first civilization, Desmond reliving Ezio. In Assassin's Creed 2, the past always seems to be reaching out to us. people pass down tools, names, wars, mistakes, and warnings. The fourth theme is free will. The assassins fight for humanity's freedom to choose. The Templars try to bring peace through control. But Assassin's Creed 2 shows how everyone is influenced by history. Ezio makes his own choices, but his father's secrets, his uncle's training, his allies, his guidance, and Desmond's need all shape those choices. His freedom is real, but it's never completely alone. We are all born into stories that are still being written. The Renaissance setting for Assassin's Creed 2 is a big reason why the game became so loved. The era is perfect for this series. It mixes art and violence, faith and corruption, science and superstition, banking, politics, beauty and brutality. The game draws on real people and events and give it a lot of depth. Leonardo da Vinci, Lorenzo, Caterina, Rodrigo, the Pazzi conspiracy, the rise of the Renaissance city-states and the political struggles between the families and the institutions here. Assassin's Creed isn't a strict history lesson. It takes events, simplifies relationships, and creates new connections. It turns historical figures into allies and enemies into fictional secret wars. But what it does so well is capture the atmosphere. It makes you feel like history is alive. Like every building has a story and every famous name belonged to someone navigating a risky, uncertain world. The game pushes players to walk through history and not just watch it unfold. Assassin's Creed 2 shines because its systems and story work hand in hand. The villa is more than just an economic hub. It's a place where family is being rebuilt. Feathers aren't just things to collect, they represent the weight of grief. Codex pages aren't just stepping stones, they're legacy. The tombs are not tricky challenges, they're a testament to the Brotherhood's history. The glyphs are not just puzzles, they're hidden truths. Leonardo's inventions aren't just upgrades, they're a blend of friendship and mechanical ingenuity. Even Ezio's weapons have a story to tell. At the start of the game, the hidden blade is a symbol of his inherited pain, but by the end it becomes his chosen path, and this is why the game continues to be cherished to this day. It's far from perfect. Combat can feel easy. Some missions are straightforward and the economy can be generous. I cheesed it a lot. Collectibles can still feel tedious and modern day sections are very brief, but the whole experience together is stronger than any one of those individual flaws. Assassin's Creed 2 truly gets adventure, momentum and character. It captures a thrill of gazing at distant towers and imagining that you could climb it. Assassin's Creed 2 went beyond just making the first game better. It set the stage for what the series could be. It made Ezio the star that we all love now. It also took the modern day story and made it richer. It dug deeper into the mystery of the first civilization and made the side quests feel more important. It turned historical cities into vibrant places with their own stories, personality, and it gave Ubisoft a blueprint to follow for years to come. It had a charming main character, a historical setting, a web of secrets and plots, growing collection of weapons, a base, collectibles that connected to the story, optional tombs to explore, real historical figures all mixed into the story, and it had a final part that showed the story was much bigger than it first seemed. After Assassin's Creed 2, the franchise was no longer just a test run. It was a full-blown empire at this point. But Ezio's story wasn't over yet. He'd gotten his revenge for his family. He'd joined the Creed, and he'd found the vault. He had become the messenger of a warning he could never understand. The next game would ask a new question. It wouldn't ask if Ezio could be an assassin. It'd ask if he could bring the Brotherhood back together, and if he could lead.
For 30 years I've lived in the shadows. visited death upon those who deserved it, and vanished like the wind. I don't know who started this conspiracy, but I know who will end it. My name is Ezio Auditore da Firenze. Like my father before me, I am an assassin.